Well, welcome everybody. Episode number two of the latest. Brad, great to see you.
Great to see you,
And we
David.
should,
Welcome, everybody.
yeah, look, Thursday, November 20. I can't get a hold of it ahead of myself. Tuesday, November 14th, right?
Thursday.
I mean,
It's Thursday.
Thursday,
You're so busy,
14th.
David. You got your event today. Your
Well,
head is in
listen,
the calendar.
it's like it started with with the pandemic, and then the timeline's getting shorter, right? Then we moved right into AI, as that was winding down, and just everything became dense, right? It's like each week seems like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm excited to dig deep into this stuff. And what you were showing me, Brad, which I'd love for you to maybe take the first segment and just share, because I had flashes of Excite and some of the early internet web custom news feed things that you could do, right?
Yeah.
Back
Yeah.
then AI was used behind the scenes to push stuff out to us. I mean, kind of pre that, it was us saying, oh, we want X, Y, and Z. Let me design my own homepage. Now with all the data and what we look at and how it's been customizing things to push messaging and different things to us. And now it seems like we've come full circle with what you're going to show, which I love, and I can't wait to dig into it.
Yeah, so you were there on Monday night. So this was a community Zoom on the topic of AI and technology, and this was our friend Dr. Mark Van Riemen. He's done TED Talks. What did he? If you were there, he said that Salesforce considers him one of the top 15 voices on AI. I'll say that again. Salesforce counts him as the top 15 voices in AI right now. He is like the AI speaker for AI speakers, and
Love that.
he's like a European living in Australia who travels to the Middle East and speaks. So he's very international. He's very bright. He's got his PhD in technology. And he debuted for our community his new app, which I'm talking while I get my screen share right. Um, this one here. So you can see that clearly, that loaded for you, David?
I can.
Okay, great. So what you're looking at is his app called FutureWise. There's no E in
Wait, I
future.
see it. I see the movie recording with the feed. Maybe you shared the wrong.
No, this is it. This
Oh,
is a
that's it.
picture of a
Okay, got it.
squirrel.
The squirrel. I
Yeah,
see the squirrel. Okay, my
yeah.
bad.
So what Mark did on Monday was he screen shared his phone. So you're looking at a screenshot of the founder of this company's phone. It's called FutureWise, which is FUTUR, no E, FutureWise, and it's a real app. We'll look at it in real time here. FutureWise. That is FutureWise with an E. That's not what we're looking for. Because I put an E in. Look at that. There we go. No. This is why Google defaulted to the one with the E. We'll get that going in a sec. It's in my other browser. So what it is a news feed, but it's a custom news feed. It's a news feed like you haven't seen before. By the time we get to the end of it, you'll be like, you're right, I haven't seen that before. So imagine you're on your phone, you're scrolling the news feed that you like, and you've told it the things you like. It's pretty standard, right? Looks nice and clean. Looks like a Reuters feed or something like that. You've got your feed, you've got your bookmarks, and you've got your account down there. It's different news, whatever you want. All right, that's cool. What Mark has done, what the team at FutureWise has done, is they've given you at the top, but too long didn't read. The TLDR is at the top. And then you get a summary of the article, which is cool, right? You can show other people these things by sharing it through the bookmarks, email, bookmark, hearts, whatever, standard stuff, right? You get the actual article. In this case, it's an article from The Guardian. And then you get your summary at the top, right? Which is super cool. What he's done is he's let you translate articles in any language, which I think is just super cool. So it means that if something is written in Spanish, so if you are interested for some reason in a Spanish or a Romanian or a Polish article, so let's say you're really up on the Ukraine Russia theater, and you say, I want to know what Ukraine is writing about. You could get a Ukrainian article translated to English on your phone just like that. You can set up your personalization, which is where it gets interesting. These look familiar at first. You're like, I've seen this before, David. I've seen this before, Brad, right? These are my interests. But are you interested at the intermediate level, the advanced level, the expert level? Okay, we're getting warmer. right? But now here's where it comes in. He's saying, are you introverted or extroverted? Are you a feeler or a thinker? Are you all through this Myers-Briggs of E's and J's and T's and S's, right? Are you a direct communicator or more nuanced? Now, you're like, does that apply to me? Maybe not. Maybe I'm interested. Here's where it gets more interesting. He gives you the tone of voice and the writing style. Do you want it to be formal or academic or friendly or chatter? Do you want it to be emotional? Do you want it to be straightforward, right? Do you want a critical analysis? Do you want it at sixth grade easy newspaper reading? Do you want it to be descriptive? Do you want it to be stream of consciousness or very technical? Do you want it to be persuasive or do you just want straight journalism? Do you want it to be short or long? It's really interesting. This is him right here. I don't know if he wants his email up there, but he's the digital speaker, Mark Van Rymenum.
Amazing.
Uh, yeah, and so that I found just super interesting because that's the hyper personality that we seem to have been promised with AI is that things are going to be for us. So it's not like it's someone else's version of for you, it's your version of for you. You use the tool for a while and you're like, I'd like it a little different. You just move the slider. It couldn't be easier. So while you show us something next, I'll get that link ready because I had it on my other screen.
Sure. Um, the one I will show today, and again with this session that we're doing every week, and the show we'll call it. I'm really we want to keep it brief. There's so much going on. Oh, it is this future what is this future was?
Yeah, it's a .com, futurewise.com.
Okay,
Somehow I typed in something wrong into Google. I typed it as two words, is what it was, I
I
think.
see. Yeah,
So yeah, it's $20 a year. Like I'm not getting, I mean, I should tell him I want commission, but for a news
20
app,
bucks a
that's
year?
a
That's
year.
$1.50 a month. I mean,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. For custom news feed that's specifically for you, you could do, there's so much you could do with this. So it's super new, and I think he's launching more features. He could tell you more, but this is the latest.
I love that. And what's been the latest for me is a few things. First of all, Gamma, digging deeper and wider into Gamma, learning
Mhm.
more, using
Yeah.
different features. We go over these pretty much at all of the AI think tanks, and just people are using it in different ways, which has been exciting. Also with my job search strategy session every Friday, new name is career growth strategy.
Mhm.
Um, just the amount AI, how it's affecting people that may have gotten laid off, looking for their next opportunity, just want to keep their network tight and nurture their network. Somebody that's been on LinkedIn since 2002, so much stuff I get that isn't yeah, it's just too much, right? So let me show a little bit of this because I'll step away from Gamma and actually let me go because I think a lot of people are showing those things. And we'll get
Yeah.
more into Gamma next week. And here's our friend Camille with his amazing posts.
Oh, his
Uh,
posts are great. I was reading them earlier today, and I thought, how many Camille posts can I share without just bringing him on?
I know, right? Yeah, exactly. Couple things. First of all, 322 invitations, and I'm getting just so much. So there's a couple things. First of all, AI, I think LinkedIn has new business models now where they're restricting what a free I guess user can send.
Yeah,
So,
I experienced that this month. I
right?
experienced that.
People don't understand on their mobile phones, they can personalize a message, but a lot of times they're sending things without a message.
Yeah.
And that doesn't help me because the way I feel about LinkedIn, Brad, is if you and I and Camille are connected to somebody's going to look at that person and say, oh, that's a trusted source for us to maybe connect with. And then they can
Yeah.
get into scams and things like that.
hmm
So I think, when I'm looking at some of these requests, this is a sales pitch. There's a lot of me, me, me. I do this. I want that. I want to build my network. Rather than looking at what we do, we both run shows and help people during the week. Give me an app, right? Like if somebody had come to me with with the app you just showed me and said, hey, show this on one of your LinkedIn, I mean, on your AI think tanks, it would be like, okay, great. That person took time to look at what I was doing. And the reason I bring this up is there is just a huge amount of data out there.
Mhm.
When a company puts up a job, as an example, they're getting bombarded with requests and ATS submissions and resumes, and they're trying to use AI to juggle that. But that doesn't do any good for the person that's amazing, that their company may have cut a whole division or got bought and they're laying people off or whatever it is. And then they're going around, looking at just applying for jobs, and they're not getting seen. They know they can contribute. So how do you get around this? And so something I've been focusing on is just, we've been talking about, is AI going to take the jobs of humans? But I think it's also, is AI going to, it's just creating such a blocker that us humans, we have to be really creative to get around the noise.
Here's what I think, David. I think the way people work is we vote with our dollars. I remember back in the 90s, there were the first instances from my generation of like product bans, of people who had a political or social reason to boycott. And the boycott movement has now been called cancel culture. And cancel culture has been merged in that Venn diagram, the way two circles overlap. Cancel culture has seemed to include like individuals. But cancel culture has roots in boycotts, and boycotts had their root in the beliefs of an organization. And I think what happens in 2025 and forward is the speed of idea to iteration to website to commerce is like days. That used to be months. There is absolutely no barrier now to think up an idea, spin up a website, link it to a payment, and to put it out to people. Like you could have a marketing campaign by lunch with these latest tools. So the ability for people to choose a lesser service that they believe in over the better service that they don't believe in, I think will be not a major force, but it will be there. I think you'll find that if one company says, you know what, we've undercut our employees by 80%, you might find someone go, I'm going to hire those people back. It costs a little bit more, but people will come to us. I think that won't be like a Titanic. You're not going to hit that iceberg and sink the whole big ship, but I think that will be there. I think there are too many people today that are vocal about their opinions of when big companies do that. Um, and on the heels of that, let's look at this because the other side of that is that OpenAI is launching an agent that can do work for people. This is yesterday. So this yesterday is a live website yesterday from Quartz. So it's allegedly coming in January. All right. And it's going to be codenamed Operator. Do you remember the movie that had the word operator about 20 years ago? Big popular action movie,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The Matrix. Right? I think you've got all these people who watched The Matrix as a teenager, and now that lingo's in their head. Wasn't it Keanu Reeves phoned up the tech team and said, "Operator"?
Right,
Right? To me, that just
right.
seems baked in. It seems super fun.
Totally. And are they just sourcing those ideas from the Jetsons and some of these older movies? I would not doubt it.
So this is Quartz QZ reporting that Bloomberg reported. Bloomberg. I've heard about Bloomberg machines. Have you ever seen a Bloomberg machine? A
Mm-mm.
Bloomberg machine allegedly is like a compact computer that only connects to the stock market and only gives you the stock market. And Michael Bloomberg, I think is his name, sold like every person in stocks and bonds a Bloomberg machine. And
Uh,
I think if I'm correct, that that's where the Bloomberg report comes from, or the
right.
Bloomberg news media is someone very connected to stock markets and money. So I think
Yeah.
Bloomberg might skew a little red, but they might skew a little green money. Um, so they're reporting that the operator AI agent will do tasks on behalf of a person, including coding and booking travel, and
Yeah.
that they're going to do a preview of this coming up, and that they talked about this in a staff meeting Wednesday, which is yesterday. So these kinds of major releases where the company with hundreds of millions of users puts something out, you're more likely to see just that inevitability. Like it's going to happen. I
Right.
think that kind of stuff is the latest, that the big company that gets it right, that doesn't undercut people's jobs, but just helps them, it's just a calculator on the desk. I
Right.
think that is going to be a big impact.
Totally. And empower the employees, right? If I could, for every one human I hire, if they could be, one and a half, two humans, and
Yeah.
I'm giving them the support and the training they need to do great, that's a win-win. I win as a company, or they win as a company. I have goodwill amongst my people. And the companies that get that right will be here in 10 years. The ones that don't, I don't care who they are, they may not be.
Yeah. My friend sent me an article on my phone this morning, which I'm looking at. Alan sent me this from Visa. It's a Wall Street Journal article that Visa, this is Wall Street Journal saying this, that Visa spent like 10. How much do you think Visa spent exploring AI? I won't quote the number until you guess.
Oh, it must have been 100 million.
I think it was, and I want to quote it.
Well,
Visa said it invested 3.3 billion in AI and data over the last 10 years. So 10 years, but
yeah,
3.3 billion. So I think that should be a wake-up call for anyone who says like, "Oh, it's early days." I'm going to say that Visa spent $3 billion in the last decade. It is not early days. It is time to spend some amount of money and test. Test it. Test it on 1% of your team. Go, we're going to buy 3 seats of this tool and see if it works. Uh, I keep telling people it's like being lukewarm on websites in 1998, going,
right.
"Oh, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hold back." And I'm going to say that's the wrong move.
Yeah. And just, when you say the tool too, right? Now these things are coming out so fast. That's why it's like having these live sessions every week. You have to. You
Yeah.
can't record anything and then it's done, right? It's going to be great to look back at these latest segments that we're doing to just see the progression, because transformation is happening. I lived and I worked in tech through the software industry in the 80s when AI was the big thing, through the 90s when AI was the big thing, different components. And now
Hmm.
that it's let out of the box, yes, companies need to jump on board, and they don't have to boil the ocean. They can just look at different workflows and how they can support their team.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so we'll have more on this throughout the weeks. Next week, we'll catch everybody up on the latest happening.
Love it. Great.
Have a great week, Brad.
Take care, David. Thanks, everybody.